Salam alaikum, alaikum salam alafia. Why more people turn into Palo Mayombe black magic for spiritual help? I wrote an article about this. You can click the link in the description of this video if you would like to read the entire article of what I describe of why more people are turning to Palo Mayombe black magic for spiritual help. Over the years, African traditional religion has become more mainstream. We now see it in movies. We now see celebrities who are actually advertising it in their content, in their publicity and so forth. We're seeing it in TV shows. We're seeing more media, more content in the mainstream media, which is advertising magic, which is advertising alternative forms of spirituality. We have more of the Eurocentric culture who's embracing traditions like Wicca and so forth. And it's causing a lot of indigenous people and people of African descent to turn to other more powerful forms of spirituality simply because Orthodox religion has not been able to serve them in a way that they had hoped to. They had not been able to overcome the afflictions and overcome the oppressions and overcome many of the different things that they have been challenged with in their life by going to church or by going to the mosque or by going to a synagogue and so forth. So many people have started to look and investigate alternative practices which are more original and more indigenous to who and what they really are. These people have turned to the African continent and its cultures and traditions and spiritual beliefs in order to figure out more ways to balance their lives, to bring their lives back into harmony with their destiny and with their fate. And one of the religions and one of the traditions which has been becoming more prominent in the community is Palo Mayombe, as well as Santeria, as well as voodoo, and so forth. So Palo appeared to be one of those traditions to people in the community that could get shit done right now, okay? The stigma of Palo is that it can be used for good or it can be used for bad. Many people who come to the Palo tradition are not only looking to have things done for themselves, but they're also looking to gain retribution for things that have happened to them. Palo being one of those traditions that was utilized during a particular slave trade and was used to fight oppressors, has become more popular in helping people to deal with their everyday obstacles and challenges and dealing with people who are antagonists in their life as well. But one of the things that most people fail to realize about a tradition like Palo is that Palo is also a spirituality. It's not just black magic. It's not just about cursing. It's not just about hexing. It's not just about destroying someone, but it is about creating a new spiritual life for that person. It's about changing the fate of that individual. I have many God brothers and God sisters, several of which I have introduced the tradition to, who were headed down a dark path in their life. And when they came into the Munanza and they began their process of initiation and actually entered into the tradition, the regimento, they saw a transformation in their life. They saw all of the negative things that were holding their life back begin to peel away so that they can get to the essence of what their life was really about. Palo was able to bring their lives back into balance by working directly with the dead, by working with the elements of nature and the forces of nature. These individuals were able to bring that balance back into their life. They were able to remove the negative influences that were going on in their life. I don't necessarily consider Palo lesser than any other tradition like Santeria or Ifa or Voodoo, because each one of these traditions are beautiful in their own right and they stand alone in their own right. They each have a role and a piece to play in a person's spiritual evolution. This is how they should be approached. Many people get into the tradition of Palo. They get initiated into the tradition of Palo. And because people who have been hurt throughout life find something that can give them an edge in life, find something that has the ability to give them power, they begin to act out this hurt. They begin to act out this pain through their spiritual practice. And they utilize practices like Palo, unfortunately, to do this. We have many people in the tradition today who before the tradition considered themselves to be lesser, considered themselves to be a nobody. These were people who might have gotten bullied on in high school, who might have been abused by their parents, or who might have come up poor, impoverished, and talked about it, and so forth. These people found Palo, so they found it as an opportunity to get back now. Now I can do to people what people did to me. This is the wrong approach to take when coming into this tradition. The very wrong approach to take. And one of the reasons is because you may appear to gain knowledge. You may learn 1,000 different ways to work a trabajo on a person, to do brujeria on a person. But at the end of the day, you will not spiritually grow. And when we say spiritually grow, we don't only mean just our ability to be able to divine. Divination is only one aspect of this particular practice, and it is also only one aspect of our spiritual evolution. But the tradition has the ability to purify. It has the ability to strip away those negative things that have been holding us back. And even when you walk a fine line of righteousness in this particular tradition, you still may attract to yourself those negative elements, because these are things that are reflections of what's going on inside yourself, the battle that is going on inside yourself that you need to conquer. These challenges in the tradition that will help you to become strong. Palo is not for the weak. Palo is not for the mentally weak. Palo is not necessarily for the mentally unstable. Palo is for the person who is looking to become a powerful force in the community as a healer. Palo is the person. Palo represents a tradition that elevates a person to become the hand of karma in a person's life. And in order to properly become a hand of karma in a person's life, you must maintain a balancement. You must maintain a neutrality. You cannot lean too far to the right. You cannot lean too far to the left. You must maintain a balance. This is why one of the proverbs of the Kambisa rule of Palo is, he who worships God also worships Satan. And what this represents is that as Cambiseros, we are also acknowledging both sides of the universe. We represent the light. We acknowledge the light as well as the dark. The dark, or Indoki, does not mean that we are evil, but it means that we are able to work with both the forces of creation as well as destruction. Because without destruction, there can be no change. It does not mean that we work in Doki just so we can curse and hex people. As a person who personally works with Indoki, I can tell you that the approach that I take is very balanced. I do not use that particular part of the pantheon or that particular part of the universe in order to harm people unjustly. I tell people all the time that the best way to grow in this tradition is to walk in the line of righteousness. The best way to grow in this tradition is to stick to 4 main principles. And if you stick to those 4 main principles, you will grow. Those 4 main principles is faith. Without faith, we are lost. Without faith, we have nothing. Everything in this tradition is based on faith. The more confidence that we put and the more trust that we put in our ancestors and the more trust that we put in the dead who reside and come through our Ngangas, the more that we are able to see their miraculous abilities and powers manifest through our life. Our ability to trust that they will never let us down. Our ability to trust that they will always have our backs. Our ability to trust that they will always protect us. Our ability to trust that they will always grant us that which we need, as well as that which we want that is good for us. Another principle that I always stress to new initiates and even old initiates is to be humble. A lot of people are so afraid of being humble. They're afraid of appearing weak because they're humble. As I elevated in this tradition, I did not walk around with my chest out. I see a lot of people in the tradition doing this today. A lot of people in the tradition walk around, oh, I'm Zarabanda, I'm Seti Rayos, I'm Insasi, and I'm Indoki, and I have this, and I have that, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I'm protected in this way, and I'm protected. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is a direct reflection of those people who felt like they were nothing before Palo, and now they are something. They feel like because they've acquired a few Ngangas, and they've learned a few tricks and a few things about how to work a morto, that they feel like they can now flex. I never walk around like that. I never walk around talking about, oh, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that. I never walk around like that because the Nkisi will show you that you ain't shit. They'll let you have success. They'll let you gain knowledge. They'll let you think you have power. And as your actions continually produce reactions in your life that are based on the temperament of what you're doing, meaning that if you are out here using the powers that you have been blessed with in a hazardous way, if you are cursing people without a cause, or if you are out here trying to bully people with your Nganga, oh, you stepped on my shoe, I'm going to send my Nkisi at you. Or you disagreed with me on Facebook, I'm going to send my Nkisi at you. Or you're from this lineage and I'm from that lineage, and our lineage is the original lineage, so now we're going to war and all this other craziness. Then eventually, the spirits are going to let you get caught up in that. Once you head down that path, they're going to let you get caught up in that. They're going to test you. They're going to let you get caught up in that. They're going to let you think, oh yeah, he thinks he's everything. Look at him. He's walking around with his chest out. He's poked out. He thinks he's the one. He thinks he's the one behind all of this. He don't know. You know what I mean? Because we'll start programming our subconscious to think that it's all about us. Oh, I don't need to do anything to you. And I don't need to do this. And I'm this powerful. And I'm the super polero. And I'm this and I'm that. It's not about that. Many people think that that's what being pacheche or strong or good is. That has nothing to do with it. You don't need to walk around like that. You don't need to pick fights. Now, if somebody come fucking with you, then of course you protect yourself, you defend yourself. But going around trying to flex, see, a lot of people get bored with the practice. They ain't got shit to do with the practice because they're not actually out here doing work to help people. So they sit and they give their light, and they give their cigars, and they give their smoke, they give their insunga, they give their malafo, they give their offerings and their you know, and all the things that they need to do, their ebos and all of these different things. They give all of these different things to their spirits on a daily basis, but they don't send that spirit out to work, and the spirit wants to work. They like to work, but they want you to put them to work in a positive way. They want you to put them in a work in a way in which you are helping people. They love to help people. A lot of spirits that a lot of people get don't want to do malo. They don't want to do those things. But when people get into the tradition and they're receiving Nganga and they start treating that Mfumbe as if it is a slave and not a friend, eventually that Mfumbe becomes Ndundun. It begins to turn on them. And then they start wondering why fucked up shit is happening to them in their life. Some things that you may experience on a path in this particular tradition may not have nothing to do with you. May have everything to do with what you are to become. May have everything to do with what your mission is. And I'm speaking from experience. A lot of negativity that has come to me in the community was negativity that I did not ask for. I simply was doing my own thing. People saw me. They felt the way in their feelings, and they felt like they wanted to speak out and act out spiritually against me. Then when I began to retaliate and I began to speak up and I wasn't going to back down to any bullying, especially on the internet, then it was like, oh, we got to destroy him. This is the mentality that a lot of people have. And this is the type of energy that keeps Palo in a negative light. I have experienced the very beautiful aspects of Palo. I have experienced the very ugly aspects of Palo. I have experienced both sides to recognize that there is beauty in this. It's not all about hurting people. It's not all about cursing people. It has nothing to do with none of that stuff. So when you think about why people are now coming to this tradition, many people are coming into this tradition because they're hurt. Many people are coming into this tradition because they want to learn how to gain power. They want to learn how to control other people. They want to learn how to gain control over other people when they need to be trying to learn how to gain control over themselves. We don't speak about meditation enough in this tradition. We don't speak about bringing the mind under control enough in this tradition. My padrino Nazako, who I am Oficio Congo of, my padrino Nazako told me, in order to be a good palero, in order to be good in this tradition, you must have a strong mind. At the time when he told me, I did not understand. I'm like, okay, a strong mind. I'm the strong mind. We never really talk about meditation. We never really talk about mysticism. We never really talk about any of these things. So what did he actually mean? A strong mind. But then when my adversaries began to start targeting me for whatever reason that they had in their own mind, when they started to target me and I started to feel the spiritual energy coming at me, I realized that it was more about controlling my mind, because the energies will control your mind. They will try to whisper things to you, make you think certain things. You see what I'm saying? Even influence you to do certain things. This tradition is all about controlling another person. Not just controlling a situation or the outcome of a situation, but also controlling a person. Many people I've seen come into the Munanzo looking for initiation so that they can learn how to control their boyfriend, or they can learn how to control their girlfriend. You see what I'm saying? And that's just the tip of the iceberg of the things that I have seen people come into this tradition for that have nothing to do with spiritual development, have nothing to do with spiritual advancement. Many of these people know nothing about how to practice Palo in whatever branch that they are in. Most people learn, the first thing people want to learn is how to send out a muerto, how to use fulazo, so that they can send that muerto out and target people. They never learn the significance of why we're sending that out. They never learn the reason why you sending that out. They just want to send it out every time they get mad at a person. Oh man, you got a problem with so-and-so? Oh well, I'm gonna send my muerto at him. I'm gonna send my siete rayos at him, and I'm gonna show him. He ain't gonna be able to. Come on, man. They didn't stop building siete rayoses when they built yours. Humble yourself. Another principle that I teach people about is patience. Patience. You must have patience in this tradition. Everything does not happen overnight. Sometimes shit happens instantly. Sometimes shit happens overnight. Sometimes shit happens in 2 weeks. Sometimes shit happens in 2 months. Sometimes shit happens in 2 years. When you set something in motion and you put that spirit on a mission to do something, as long as you're not getting in the way of that spirit, like say for instance, if you go out and put in a work to help you get a job at a particular place, but then you go and move out of state, so you can't get hired there. Now you can't get hired there. Well, guess what? That work that you did is not going to manifest because you moved out of state. There's no way for you to get that job unless you're going to move back if they hire you. But if you moved out of state, found another job, then you really didn't let the spirit do what you asked it to do. And a lot of times, and that's just a small example of what happens, but a lot of times that is what happens in spiritual work. Because people are not patient enough. Most people don't even really want the shit that they ask in the spirit to get them. They only want it at the moment. It's just like when you go into the department store and you pick up a pair of shoes, you buy those shoes, you take them home and realize, damn, I don't even want this shit. I don't even like these. These kind of ugly. I wonder, can I take them back? The only thing is with the spirit, you can't take it back. Once you put that out there, it's out there. You got to let that thing manifest. And a lot of people do this. A lot of people do this because they don't have patience. They don't think about what it is that they really want. They just do it impulsively. We've been conditioned in this country to act off of impulse. We purchase off of impulse. We do a lot of shit off of impulse. Because we're hurt, or because we're emotional, or because we're experiencing some type of mental anguish. My videos are not to teach you the secrets of Palo Mayombe. Those things can only be taught within the confines of a Munanzo Congo through initiation by receiving regimento. My purpose for making these videos is to share wisdom, to share what I have learned on the path, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's all there. People are coming into this tradition because they want to take control over their lives. People are joining these traditions because they're not believing in things necessarily outside of themselves, invisible gods and Jesuses and Muhammads and all of these different things that they cannot see manifest. When you work in traditions such as Palo Mayombe, Ifa, Santeria, Voodoo, these traditions allow us to see the full manifestation of the Spirit in our life almost immediately. Almost immediately. So, the final thing that I teach people about when they come into this tradition and what will allow them to grow is obedience. Obedience. Not obedience only to your padrino or your madrina, but obedience to the dead. You know how many people get themselves in shit because they do not obey the guidance and the insight from the Spirit? Many people go in front of their engangas on a daily basis and perform trabajos and send out muertos and do not even use the chamalongo. Do not even use the chamalongo to see if the muerto even wants to go out and do the shit that they asking them to do. They don't even go out. They don't even ask. They just get so caught up in their feelings. Oh, he pissed me off. I'm gonna send my muerto at them. Do your muerto even want to go out and do that? Do your Nkisi even want to go out and do that? A lot of times, people that do shit to me probably wonder why I never send nothing back out at them. I just wipe that shit off. Whatever they sending me, I just wipe off. Because a lot of Palo magic can just be wiped off. You just got to know how to wipe it off. It sticks to you. It's like you send out a spirit of the dead. That spirit of the dead comes and sticks to you. Just hangs on your shoulder and just be walking with you and causing all kind of havoc and shit to happen in your life until you realize it's there and you wipe this shit off. But you got to know how to wipe it off. These are the things I teach in my online courses. These are the things that I teach within the confines of my Munanzo Congo. You see? But you got to be obedient. If you throw the chamalongo and the muerto say no. If I throw the chamalongo, I ask the muerto, do I need to do this? And the muerto say no. I ain't doing it. I don't give a fuck how mad I am at that person. I don't care how angry I am at that person. I don't care how much I want that girl. I don't care how much I want that job. I don't care how much it is that I want what I want. If the Spirit say no, I ain't doing it. Other people don't do that. They don't have no obedience. And then they wonder why fucked up shit happened to them. They wonder why they're not protected. Then they want to blame the Spirit. I never blame the Spirit. If I fuck up, it's on me. I never blame them. Never blame them. If I fuck up, it's because I need to grow some more. You know what I'm saying? In the past, I made a mistake and I engaged in a lot of negativity that was coming at me because people were jealous, they were envious, they were hateful. You know what I mean? They didn't want to see me representing this tradition, you know what I'm saying, on the internet. They didn't want to see me representing this tradition. So they created a lot of slander, a lot of negativity, a lot of bogus shit. And I made the mistake of feeding into that stuff. But when I fed into that stuff, even though the Spirit really didn't want me to feed into that stuff, When I fed into that stuff, it just caused it to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and grow out of proportion like a virus. Because I felt like I needed to address the lies and the slander and all of this other shit because I did not want it to affect my reputation. Now, I really don't give a fuck who says what about me. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the work. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters are the results. You can say whatever you want to say about me. And I definitely advise any other palero out there to not feed into that type of shit. Any other priest out there, whether you're a babalao, whether you're a santero or santera, whether you're ayanifa, any of that, whether you're a voodoo son, a mambo, or boko, any of that, don't feed into that shit no more. Unless you like controversy and drama. If you feed off of that kind of shit, then by all means, do what you do. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to bring you more than what you bargained for. Be obedient to the Spirit. Use your divination. If the Spirit says no, don't do it. If the Spirit says do it, you better do it. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Oh, I'll do it next week when I get an extra $30. No, take your ass over there right now with the last $30 in your pocket. Get what the Spirit said for you to get and give it to him. Because you may not have to next week. You got to be obedient. And this all comes with devotion. These 4 principles are the 4 principles of devotion. These are the 4 principles of devotion, and these are the 4 principles that will keep you on the positive side of justice. These are the 4 principles that will keep you on the positive side of righteousness. A lot of people be wondering, well, how does this dude continue to keep going with other people out there making it look like he got all this going against him and he's this and he's that and blah, blah, blah. How does he keep going? Because ever since any negativity came around me, I've always stayed on the side of righteousness. I never went picking on people. Oh, look at him, he's fake. Look at him, he's fake. Look at her, she's fake. Look at her, she don't know what the fuck she doing. She don't know what the fuck he doing. Let them people be. If they don't know what they doing, then it's going to manifest in their work. And the spirits and the forces in which they working with are going to fuck them up. You ain't got to start no spiritual war with them people. Now, if you racist and you just don't want to see certain people representing the tradition, especially in a leadership capacity, then that's a different story. Then you're going to be led by your racism. You're going to be led by your prejudice. And you're going to do things that are going to eventually lead to your demise anyway. Especially when you're trying to use an African-based religion to go up against African people. That just don't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? So, with those 4 principles, faith, patience, humility, obedience, you can grow. You will grow. I promise you. I promise you, if you apply those 4 principles to your spiritual practices in any of these traditions, not just Palo, but any of these traditions, if you apply those 4 spiritual principles to your spiritual practice, I guarantee you, you will grow. And you will be able to overcome each and every obstacle that ever come at you. The spirits will be more readily available to you. They will communicate with you. They will find ways to communicate with you. Even if your spiritual antenna ain't up there yet, they will start to reveal themselves to you. They will bless you with the ache, with the power, with the energy that you need to be able to communicate with them more efficiently, because they see you taking a step towards them. What the Christian religion say? Take 1 step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. These type of parables and whatnot, these things become actualized in African traditional religion, which is probably where they got the parables from in the first place. You take a step towards the ancestors, they're going to take 10 steps towards you. Oh shit, he acknowledging us. Well, we need to go over there and pay attention to him. You see what I mean? Because he's trying to connect to us. He's trying to listen to us. One of the things that my padrino told me was that I'm obedient. He said they love you because you're obedient. You do whatever they ask you to do, even when it does not feel comfortable for you to do. I ain't gonna lie, a few times I fucked up. Few times I didn't do what they wanted me to do. I did what I wanted to do. And guess what? I needed that to happen because I needed to experience what happens when you do not obey. You suffer the karmic consequences. I saw a Tata say that there is no such thing as karma in the tradition of Palo. And I'm probably going to make another video and probably write an article about this as well. But he said that there's no such thing as karma in the tradition of Palo. That it's all about power. Power to do good, power to do bad. That's bullshit. Karma is nothing, like I always said in my old videos, karma is nothing but a Sanskrit word that means action. Now, when we look at the Hermetic principle of causation, we get a better and deeper explanation of what karma is and how it relates to our actions, because the axiom of causation, the principle of causation, says that for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. This ain't got nothing to do with no spiritual tradition. No spiritual tradition, no practice, no religion is what do you call it? No spiritual tradition is without this particular principle. Every spiritual practice, I don't care if you're Wicca, voodoo, whatever, it's all this this law of causation is a part of the very nature of reality. This is the universal laws of how reality is even coming into manifestation. Every action leads to another reaction. Then that reaction leads to another action, which leads to another reaction, which leads to an action, which leads to another reaction, which leads to an action, which leads to another reaction. Palo ain't exempt. Just because you can change karma in Palo, if you know what you're doing, it don't mean that karma can't bite your ass, meaning that you can't go out here bullying people for years, thinking you can police the community, or thinking that you can pick on people because they not of your lineage, or pick on people because they practicing a little bit different than you, and think that eventually those actions that you're making are not going to have equal opposite reactions. And this is when the spirit of justice comes in, because the spirit of justice are going to look at these actions and say, well, nigga, you wrong. I don't give a fuck how long you've been practicing. Your ass is wrong. And now I'm about to take your ass. You fuck with this person for nothing. Simply because I know what's in your heart. You did it because you didn't like the fact that he was a particular ethnicity. You did it because you did not agree with the way this person practiced. You didn't agree with the way their shrines look. Or you didn't believe in this and believe in that. And guess what, nigga? You're wrong. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. I can see every action that you performed from the moment that this person came into your life up until now. And now I'm ready to make my judgment. And I see that you are not on the positive side of justice. You have been wrong from the very beginning. And now you lose. You lose because you got caught up in ego. You were not obedient to the spirit. You did not have faith in the process. You did not believe in community. You did not believe in unity. You got to be careful watching those people who are so quick to pay attention to how different we are, rather than pay attention to how we are the same. And I'm going to end that video on this note. I hope this video was very informative to y'all. If y'all have any questions, definitely click the link in the description of this video. Click the link in the description of this video to view the full article. You can follow me on Twitter. You can click the links to follow me on Facebook. You can click the links to follow me on Instagram. You can click the link to actually go to my contact page on my website and send me a question, a short question. You can also click the link and book a consultation with me. All right. You can book a consultation, schedule your time. I'll be happy to help you with your situation. If I cannot help you with your situation, I'll be happy to send you or recommend you to an authentic and reputable priest in the community. Okay, hopefully I'll get some cooperation from other priests in the community. I want to create a directory on my website for other priests in the community and create pages for these people. And I'm willing to do this for free. I'm not going to even charge these people. I just want to bring unity to the community. I don't care if you're a babalao. I don't care if you're a santero. I don't care if you're a palero. I don't care if you practice voodoo. I don't care if you're a bokor. I will create for you a personalized profile on my website for people who can come to you in your location and work with you if they cannot come work with me. A lot of things that we do requires a person to come and visit us in person. If I'm in Chicago or Atlanta and you can't come to me in person, and because you live in Miami, but we have several practitioners who live in Miami who are reputable and authentic listed on the directory, you can simply go into my directory on my website and find you somebody who actually works in the Miami area. By doing this, we bring unity. We bring community. There's no need to compete against people. There's 6 to 7 billion people on this planet. What the hell are we competing for? It's more than enough people for every priest and priestess out here to help. Get out your feelings. Get out your prejudices. Get and drop the racism. Because at the end of the day, the dead don't give a fuck about what color we are. Because underneath this skin, we all bleed red. And guess what? They drink the same blood. They don't give a fuck. Blood is blood. So stop with the nonsense. Definitely click the links in the description of the video if you want to reach out to me, if you want to follow me and contact me. And if you want to work with me, click the link that says tatanazako.com/services and book a consultation with me. And I'll be looking forward to speaking with you and talking to you. Peace.